Today is currently January 29th at 10:52, as y'all can see. Go ahead and put the timer on so y'all can see right there. Um, First, let's go ahead and get into. Okay, for sure. Let's go ahead and put 15-minute timer on. Let's lock in, man. So we're in chapter 4 on how to think big. So the first one, it says, what does it take to make good speech? Just about everyone wishes he had the ability to do the first class job of speaking in public. But most people don't get their wish. Most people are lousy public speakers. Why? The reason is simple. Most people concentrate on the small, trivial things of speaking at the expense of big, important things. In preparing to give a talk, most people give themselves a host of mental instructions like, I've got to remember to stand straight, don't move around, and don't use your hands. Don't let the audience see you use your notes. Remember, don't make mistakes in grammar. Especially don't say for he and I, say him and me. Be sure your tie is straight. Speak loud, but not too loud, and so on and so on. Now, what happens when the speaker gets up to speak? He's scared because he's given himself a terrified list of things not to do. He gets confused in his talk and finds himself silently asking, have I made a mistake? He is, in brief, a flop. He's a flop because he concentrated on the petty, trivial, relative, unimportant qualities of a good speaker and failed to concentrate on the big things that make a good speaker. Knowledge of what he's going to talk about, and intense desire to tell it to other people. The real test of a speaker is not did he stand straight or did he make any mistakes in grammar, but rather did the audience get the points he wanted to put across. Most of our top speakers have petty defects. Some of them have unpleasant voices. Some of the most sought after speakers in America would flunk a speech course taught by the old negative, don't do this and don't do that method. Yet all these successful public speakers have one thing in common. They have something to say and they feel a burning desire for other people to hear it. Don't let concern with trivia keep you from speaking successfully in public. Facts. Hope y'all like the little scenery I got, I'm saying, I had to make it look cozy in here. So, number 2, what causes quarrels? Ever stop to ask yourself what causes quarrels? At least 99% of the time, quarrels start over petty, unimportant matters like this. John comes home a little tired, a little on edge. Dinner doesn't exactly please him, so he turns up his nose and complains. Joanne's day wasn't perfect either, so she rattles to her own defense with, well, what did you expect of my food budget? Or maybe maybe I could cook better if I had a new stove like everybody else. This insults John's pride, so he attacks with, now Joanne, it's not like a lack of money, it's simply that you don't know how to manage. And away they go. Before a truce is finally declared, all sorts of accusations are made by each party. In-laws, sex, money, premarital and postmarital promises, and other issues would be introduced. Both parties have the battle nervous tense. Nothing has been settled, and both parties have ammunition to make the next quarrel more vicious. Little things, petty thinking causes arguments. So to eliminate quarrels, eliminate petty thinking. Here's a technique that works. Before complaining or accusing or reprimanding someone or launching a counterattack in defense, ask yourself, is it really important? In most cases, it's not, and you should avoid conflict. Ask yourself, is it really important if he or she is messy with cigarettes or forgets to put the cap on the toothpaste or is coming home late? Is it really important if he or she has squandered a little money or invited some people in I didn't like? when you feel like taking negative action, ask yourself, is it really important? That question works magic in building a finer home situation. It works at the office, it works in the home going traffic when another driver cuts in ahead of you. It works in any situation in life that is apt to produce quarrels. Quarrels. Number 3. John got the smallest office and fizzled out. Several years ago, I observed small thinking about an office assignment destroy a young fellow's chances for a profitable career in advertising. 4 young executives, all the same status level, were moved into new offices. 3 of the offices were identical in size and decoration. The fourth was smaller and less elaborate. J.M. was assigned the 4th office. This turned out to be a real blow to his pride. Immediately he felt discriminated against. Negative thinking, resentment, bitterness, jealousy built up. J.M. began to feel inadequate. This result was that J.M. grew hostile towards his fellow executives. Rather than cooperate, he did his best to undermine their efforts. Things got worse. 3 months later, J.M. slipped so badly that the management had no choice but to issue him a pink slip. Man, J.M. Small thinking over a small matter stopped J.M. in his haste to feel he was discriminated against. J.M. failed to observe that the company was expanding rapidly and office space was at a premium. He didn't stop to consider the possibility that the executive who made the office assignments didn't even know which one was the smallest. No one in the organization except J.M. regarded his office as an index of his value. Small thinking about important things like seeing yourself last on the department route sheet or getting the 4th carbon of an office memo can hurt you. Think big, and none of these little things can hold you back. Facts. Can't be having no small thinking, Number 4, even stuttering is a detail. A sales executive told me how even stuttering is a mere detail in salesmanship if the fellow has really important qualities. I have a friend, also a sales executive, who loves practicing jokes, though sometimes these jokes aren't jokes at all. A few months ago, a young fellow called on a practical joking friend and asked for a sales job. The fellow had a terrible stutter though, and my friend decided right here was a chance to play a joke on me. So the friend told me the stammering applicant that he wasn't in the market for a salesman right now, but one of his friends, me, had a spot to fill in. Then he phoned me, and boy, did he give this fellow a build up. Not suspecting anything, I said, send him right over. 30 minutes later, in he walked. The young fellow hadn't said 3 words before I knew my friend was eager to see him over. Not they want me to stutter. I'm Jack R. He said, Mr. X sent me over to talk to you about a job. Almost every word was a struggle. I thought to myself, this guy couldn't sell a dollar bill for 90 cents on Wall Street. I was sore at my friend, but I really felt sorry for this fellow. So I thought that the least I could do was to ask him some polite questions while I thought up a good excuse as to why I couldn't use him. As we talked on, however, I discovered that this young fellow was not stupid. He was intelligent. He handled himself very nicely, but I couldn't overlook the fact that he stuttered. Finally, I decided I'd wind up the interview by asking one last question. What makes you think you can sell? Well, he said, I learn fast. I like people. I think you got a good company, and I want to talk to you to make more money. Now, I'm not finna say all this. Do I have a speech impairment, but doesn't it bother me? So why would it bother anybody else? Yeah, I don't know why I was trying to stutter this time. His answer showed me he had all the right important qualifications for a salesman, and I decided right then to give him a chance. And he's working out very well. Even a speech impairment in a talker's profession is a triviality if the person has big qualities. Practice these procedures to help yourself think about trivialities. Number one, keep your eyes focused on the big objective. Many times we're like the salesman who failed to make the sale, reports to the manager. Yes, but I convinced the customer he was wrong. In selling, the big objective is winning sales, not arguments. In marriage, the big objective is peace, happiness, and tranquility, not winning quarrels or saying, I could have told you so. In working with employees, the big objective is developing their full potential, not making issues out of their minor errors. In living with neighbors, the big objective is mutual respect and friendship, not seeing if you can have their dog impounded because once in a while it barks at night. Paraphrasing some military lingo, it is much better to lose a battle and win in a war than to win a battle and lose the war. Resolve to keep your eyes on the big ball. Number two, ask yourself, is it really important? Before coming negatively excited, just ask yourself, is it really important for me to get all worked up about? There's no better way to avoid frustration over petty matters than to use this medicine. At least 99% of quarrels and feuds would never take place if we just face troublesome situations with, is this really important? And number three, don't fall into the triviality trap. In making speeches, solving problems, counseling employees, think of those things that really matter. Think that really matter. Things that make the difference. Don't become submerged under surface issues. Concentrate on important things. Take the test to measure the size of your thinking. So it says, I feel like we don't have to read. I read it. In the left-hand column below are listed several common situations. The middle and the right-hand columns are comparisons of how petty thinkers and big thinkers see the same situation. Check yourself, then decide which one will get you where you want to go. Petty thinking or big thinking. The situation handled in two entirely different ways. The choice is yours. So I'm not going to read all of these because it's about like 12. So I'm going to just read out just one of them. So the petty thinker's approach figures out ways to increase income through chiseling on expense accounts. And the big thinker's approach would be figures out ways to increase income by selling more merchandise. Facts. It's always like, can't think of a troublesome way to do things. You kind of think of it as a logical way, in a big and perceived way. I read probably like two more. So the petty thinker's approach is competes with the average, and then the big thinker's approach is competes with the best. Facts. The petty thinkers sees only the short run. The big thinker's approach is preoccupied with the long run. And I'll read another one. The petty thinker's approach would be magnifies minor errors, turns them into bigger issues, and the bigger thinker's approach is ignores errors of little consequence. Okay, then it says, remember, it pays in every way to think big. Number one, don't sell yourself short. Conquer the crime of self-depreciation. Concentrate on your assets. You're better than you think you are. Number two, use the big thinker's vocabulary. Use big, bright, cheerful words. Use words that promise victory, hope, happiness, and pleasure. Avoid words that create unpleasant images of failure, defeat, or grief. Number three, stretch your vision. See what you can be, not just what is. Practice adding value to things, to people, and to yourself. Number four, get the big view of your job. Really think your present job is important. The next promotion depends mostly on how you think towards your present job. And number five, think about trivial things. Focus on your attention on big objectives. Before getting involved into a petty matter, ask yourself, is it really important? Grow big by thinking big. Facts, man. I'm going to stop it right there. We're going to be on page 100. That is the start of chapter 5. Chapter 5 is how to think and dream creatively. So we're going to focus with that tomorrow. And Yeah, I actually like that quote. Man, if you want to grow big, you gotta think big, man. Facts. So, y'all stay blessed. Y'all stay encouraged. Let me get up with y'all.